Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Plate the State. You might notice that we are not on a farm today, but we are in Augusta. So one thing that you might not know is that about 1 in 5 kids in this state suffer from food insecurity. And if you think about what that looks like with even in one school or one classroom, it's just really heartbreaking. I mean, you know how you feel when you're feeling a little grumpy, when you're hungry. Now think about not a 6, 7, or 8-year-old. But luckily, Maine has just taken an incredible stride in making meals available for all public school students for free. And we're going to be speaking with some of the key players that brought this incredible legislation to light.
Thanks to LL Bean for presenting today's storybook with limited commercial interruption.
I think we don't always know who the hungry children are in schools. Throughout the pandemic, it's been a very moving target who those children are. I was in the cafeteria working at a register, and there was a little boy, maybe 10, 11 years old, at a middle school sitting at a table. He had a lunchbox in front of him, and he wasn't opening it. The line had gone through, all the children had gone through, all children are eating for free, and I'm like, I wonder what is happening with this young man. And so I went to sit down with him and I said, hey, what's going on? And he's like, well, I don't have anything in my lunchbox. His parents had accumulated some meal debt from previous years when school meals were being charged for, and his parents had told him to never get a school lunch because they didn't want to incur any more school debt. And I said, you can get a lunch, you can get everything here. You can go to our salad bar, you can get a choice of entrees and a carton of milk and have your whole meal.
One of the biggest barriers to food access for kids at school is that some kids are expected to pay for school meals while others get those meals for free. So there's sort of this tiered eligibility system to get kids food. So that's the only part of the school day that some kids are expected to pay for. And so the result of all of that is that there's this stigma attached to school meals where they're associated with poverty. You know, if you come from a low-income household, you're eligible for a free school meal. If you are a child from a household that makes just too much to receive a free school meal, but you're still food insecure, you might not have enough money for lunch. That causes some problems. What we see when, you know, some kids are paying and some kids are getting these meals for free, a lot of kids choose not to eat because they don't want to be, you know, seen as the poor kid. And unfortunately, the school cafeteria is often the first time that kids realize that they might be poorer than their friends or that their friends come from a low-income family. And so it's really this kind of like class system that we've created in the cafeteria.
Having grown up in Maine and being a product of the public school system, I think we all know how difficult it is and how burdensome it is for the school and for the parents and the families, and how stigmatizing it is to have to send these forms home, say how much you're making, how much you're earning this year, just to have their kid qualify for free lunch. And the kid being asked for those forms, being asked, do you have the means to pay for a meal or not? Why do we divide kids that way? Why should we?
We provide children with everything that they need for learning. A ride to school by transportation. We provide them with the technology they need, the teaching, the books. We provide them with sports equipment and sports uniforms, and yet before the pandemic we would say, you can have all this, but we're going to charge you for food.
When Full Plates was founded back in 2016, we heard them and we became a part of that conversation. And so we really took every opportunity we could to talk about, school meals for all is an important policy solution. And we were working on lots of other policy changes, sort of small incremental steps towards school meals for all, and always incorporated that into the conversation. And then the pandemic hit. USDA responded to schools switching to remote learning by kind of getting rid of some of these complications, including the tiered eligibility system.
One of the silver linings of the pandemic is that it gave us the opportunity to have a test run of what it would look like to offer meals for free for all children. And what we found is that families embraced it.
You had school staff, school bus drivers, other people from the community delivering meals to the homes of school children who ordinarily would be getting their meal at the school. So it was important. Everybody understood that it was important for kids to eat.
So we saw this happening in practice, we saw that it was working, and all of a sudden it became this new way to feed kids across the country. And so when you just take away all the complication and the judgment and just provide those meals for everybody, more kids eat. There's, everybody's kind of doing this together as a part of the school day, but it was temporary.
I remember learning several years ago that approximately 1 out of 5 children in Maine is food insecure, which means when that child is going to school, they're trying to learn on an empty stomach. I would love it if every family were wealthy enough, well-to-do enough to feed their children 3 healthy meals a day. But those kids are in school a great deal of the day, and why don't we stand up to the plate and feed them? So we went from school lunches, getting rid of free lunch versus reduced lunch versus paid lunch, promoting Maine-grown and Maine-fished and farmed foods in our school cafeterias, to the pandemic, when the federal government stepped in and agreed to pay for school lunches in the schools. And then we said, well, let's pick up the difference and continue that. And let's pay for breakfast as well. These kids get to school very early, and many of them were coming to school without anything in their stomachs. So not being able to wait for lunchtime to get that meal, it seemed important to help kids learn and stay healthy.
One of the things we do with our school gardens is in the fall, when they're harvesting the carrots out of this school garden, my chef and I will go into the classroom and we cook curried carrot soup with them. So they're chopping up the carrots, they're chopping the onion, they're using the immersion blender to blend this curried carrot soup. Because we've involved them in the process, they're like, this is delicious. And it takes away the fear factor of trying something different and really makes them excited. Many school nutrition programs really believe that we're not just providing children with healthy meals, but we're also educating families on ways to eat better. We believe that this whole integrative approach instills in children the desire and the knowledge and the excitement around food and healthy eating to take that into adulthood with their own families.
I think it's a wonderful way for kids to learn how to grow their own food, for kids to understand where food comes from, and for communities to gather, digging in, and school kids and staff and teachers. It's a fun thing to do, and it's a real good learning experience.
When you involve them and make them your partners, and you send recipes home to the families, then you're really making real sustainable change. And it's so important for the wholeness and the wellness and for the educational well-being of all of the children.
Let's feed the kids. It's a very simple measure, a simple goal. And with the kind of food we can grow here in Maine And with fisheries and the abundance of products and produce we have here in Maine, and with greenhouses extending the growing season, we can get this done.
I was a child that grew up with food insecurities, and I know how important it is. It's the root of all the issues that children face.
Here at Portland Public Schools, we have a wonderful opportunity to work with Native Maine. We like to focus on those local foods that we can offer to the students, proteins as well as the fresh fruit and vegetables. Encouraging your students to participate in school lunch helps us to reduce that stigma, and for those kids that really do need those meals.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Plate to the State. As I mentioned, this episode looks a little different than the ones you're used to. Instead of heading to the studio kitchen, we are in Augusta at State Lunch, where the owner, Shawn McLaughlin, is on the board of Full Plate's Full Potential. His executive sous chef, Prentice Land, is going to be making a featured recipe that also supports Full Plate's Full Potential and surprising us with a leftover tip at the end of the show.
Hi, I'm Prentice Land, Executive Sous Chef here at State Lunch Craft and Kitchen, and today's featured recipe is our Kung Pao Brussels sprouts. This is our chosen plate for Full Plate's Full Potential. $1 of the proceeds go to this amazing cause. Let's get right into it. We're gonna start off here. We slow roast our Brussels sprouts. It is sauteed in oil. It has roasted peanuts, cilantro, and our seasonal red pepper. We toss it in our signature Kung Pao sauce. We cut our vegetable as small as possible, get that good color across the plate, typically in a julienne fashion, and then into a small dice. We freshly pick our cilantro daily. We like to keep a good bit of stem on there. There's flavor in the stem as well. I'd say a good 5-6 sprigs is more than enough. First off, you want to get your pan screaming hot. That makes all the difference. You really want to create a good crust on those Brussels sprouts. You want a high temp oil to be able to handle that heat. You want to get this oil as hot as possible. You want to get it about to the point of smoking, but not quite. Burnt oil is not a pleasurable flavor. She seems to be getting pretty warm now. I'll let that crust against that pan. Typically, a little salt. A little bit of salt never hurts. You want to give it a good toss. You'll see it's starting to brown, the Brussels, and that's that crust I'm talking about. Perfect. Ready for the Kung Pao sauce. I use about 3.5 to 4 ounces of sauce. Let that sauce reduce. You want to get it start to caramelize on the Brussels sprouts. And once they're good and coated, we're gonna turn over to plating. Put it right there. Good. Heaping amount of Brussels. Okay, we're going to start off with our roasted peanuts. Good coating of the roasted peanuts. Our pepper and season. A little bit of color. And cilantro. There we go. Thank you from State Lunch, and these are the Kung Pao Brussels sprouts.
Thanks, Prentice.
So they are downstairs finishing that incredible Kung Pao Brussels sprout dish that benefits Full Plate's full potential. And so the wine that Kat, our wine stylist at Sopo Wine Co., thought would be a really wonderful pairing is this Alsatian Pinot Blanc. Christophe and his wife Yuka, who's actually an incredible Japanese chef, were one of the first people in the region that started moving to biodynamic vintnery in about 1999. So this wine is really beautiful. It has a nose of a Gewürztraminer, but finishes with a lighter note of the Pinot Blanc. So it goes really well with these spicy Kung Pao Brussels sprouts that have so much going on in the flavor. So this complements that without overpowering it. Oh, and Sean, owner of State Lunch, is coming so we can make sure this pairing works.
In order of our Kung Pao Brussels sprouts.
Thank you, sir. Oh, that looks wonderful. And it's even better knowing it supports such an incredible cause. Those are lovely.
I'm Shawn McLaughlin, owner at State Lunch Craft and Kitchen here in Augusta, Maine, and welcome to our building. State Lunch is a globally inspired gastropub here in Augusta's historic downtown waterfront area. We offer a variety of food and cocktails, something for everybody, some imaginative drinks from a scratch kitchen. I first got involved with Full Plate's Full Potential when John Woods, the co-founder, started it. When you really hear about the mission of Full Plate's Full Potential and how important it is and how really attainable the goal is, you can't really help but want to get involved. Full Plates raises money through a lot of different ways, events. One of the biggest ways they do it is from the Feed Kids program, which is what we will feature here now at the restaurant. So restaurants and other businesses will feature a menu item on their menu, and a certain proceeds from that specific item will go to Full Plate's Full Potential. So for us here at State Lunch, we're choosing our Kung Pao Brussels sprouts, which is one of our biggest sellers. It's not just restaurants either. Any other businesses can come up with this kind of program where proceeds from certain things that they do go to the charity. I do think it's important to also point out that the more these programs get passed, the better it is for our local economy, the local farmers, the local restaurants and food purveyors, where once the barriers are taken down and we need to get this food to these kids, we're gonna be the ones cooking it and making it and delivering it. So you feel good, and it's really, everybody's kind of helping each other out as well.
We're getting there to sunnier days, being with the ones we love, and now with those you've missed. This is you remastering the art of life. And while you're getting back at it, we'll be here to help you master the art of money. Norway Savings. Live your life in color.
This week's pantry tip is brought to you by Norway Savings Bank.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Plate to the State. And today's pantry tip, or actually we're calling it our food pantry tip, and one thing that is so important to instill in all of our kids is a sense of compassion for what kids their own age are going through in the state, which aren't as lucky as they are. So we're here at the Augusta Food Bank talking with Mindy, and she's going to tell us some of the kids packs they put together and ways that you can help support the food banks in your area. Mindy, hi.
Hello.
So please tell our viewers what you're doing here today with these kids packs.
So for the kids packs, we try to provide them a weekend meal, so that would be, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. We try to provide everything that's nutritional, but it's also something that the kids can cook themselves, because not all kids are able to have a help with an adult. So we try to provide a couple meals, so ravioli, which is very easy for kids to heat up. We have a couple soup packs that they just add water. We also provide a breakfast, so there's a cereal. We also provide 2 milks, and then there's some snacks for them as well.
What are some of the items that are really needed and desired from kids?
Okay, typically the Chef Boyardee, the easy stuff for kids, corn, mac and cheese, and then just your typical snacks are always good. We always can use juices, and then little fruit cups and apple sauces. A lot of this food insecurity is not in the news anymore, but it is still out there. So the need is great.
So the next time you're in the grocery store with your kids or with yourself, please consider picking up some extra snacks, like any of the things here to donate to here in Augusta or in your own community, because like we've heard, the need is greater than ever, and anything we can do makes a huge difference. So thank you.
Town & Country Federal Credit Union, our mobile app lets you do almost anything from anywhere. Deposit checks, pay bills, move money, and much more. And if you need us, we're always here to help. Learn more at tcfcu.com.
Today's leftover ideas are brought to you by Town & Country Federal Credit Union, helping you stretch your food dollars.
Hey, it's PRINTICE again with today's leftover idea. We have a crispy fried chicken sandwich that I personally like to enjoy. Lettuce, tomato, pickle, you know, that classic fried chicken sandwich that you enjoy when you were 3 or 33. Okay, let's head on over and see how it's made. So what we have here is a buttermilk brine chicken tender. We typically, for a good full sandwich, 2 pieces is perfect in my opinion. So we're gonna bread it up. I like to press it down so it doesn't take too long in the fryer. Get it good and flat, it'll fit on the sandwich a little better. Okay, right into the fryer. I'd say typically 3.5 minutes cook time, depending on the size of the tender itself. While that's cooking, I'm gonna get some butter right on this flat top. In my opinion, more butter the better. Want that good crispy crust on the outside. We'll let these cook. We like to enjoy them with French fries here. So put some of those down. All right, while this is cooking, a little salt. Looks pretty good to me. This is our spicy mayo. We have paprika, hot sauce. I mean, you can use any mayo, your choice of mayo, your choice of hot sauce. You can have it spicier, less spicy. That, salt and pepper, that's about it. Pretty simple. Most everyone has it in their refrigerator. Some shredded romaine lettuce, thinly sliced tomato. We like to add a little salt and pepper to our tomatoes. And pickles. Got to get that vinegar in there. Acid. Right about now the tender should be done. Good and crispy. As my chef likes to say, golden brown, best in town. And easy, we're just gonna build it just like this. Get that on there real good. Put a good slice at an angle. Just like the grilled cheese when you were younger. Just like that. Top it off with some French fries. Here at State Lunch, we like salt, pepper, granulated garlic, a little parsley, and Parmesan cheese. We can't wait to see you here at State Lunch, and for this recipe, check out platethestate.com.
When I wake up in the morning and I know I'm going to SMCC or my class, I know I'm gonna have a great day.
Hi guys! Hi guys! I've never met someone as genuine and that has so much experience in this field as my professor Maureen LaSalle.
We spend a lot of time working with industry, understanding what they want, what they need from our students. We can help them by getting them more prepared to come out of our classes into the workforce. We don't ever want a student not to apply because they don't believe they can afford it. There should be no financial barriers. We will work with you to make sure that you can be here.
Hi, I'm Jenny at Liquid Riot Bottling Company, and as part of the food industry, we're so happy that children here in Maine are getting universal free lunch. We have lots of mocktails to offer families and children, and we also make our own sodas. This is a wild Maine blueberry soda, and we have lots of other things for you to enjoy. So come on in and we'll make something for the adults too.
Today's cocktail presented by Liquid Riot, a distillery, brewery, and resto bar located in Portland's Old Port. Enjoy a meal, cocktail, or beer on the waterfront deck Spirits, 4-packs, and food are also available for takeout and delivery. Liquid Riot is proud to support local farmers. Cheers!
Hello everyone, this is Jenny at Liquid Riot. Today we're going to be making a Jungle Bird, a classic tiki drink from Malaysia from the 70s. We're going to be featuring our Dow's Demise dark rum. This is a Solera aged rum using light and dark molasses and sugarcane. So this will be 1.5 ounces of dark rum. We'll be using CAMPARI, ½ ounce CAMPARI. Pineapple juice, 1.5 ounces of pineapple. And fresh squeezed lime juice, 0.75 ounces of that. We have some nice fresh mint to garnish this with, some little edible violas. So here's a Jungle Bird featuring our Dow's Demise dark rum. This would be a perfect cocktail to have on our waterfront patio.
For our cocktail program at Liquid Riot, we have our staples that always stay on the menu, but we always have a signature seasonal rotating cocktail list as well. All of our spirits are made in-house. All of our cordials, all fresh juices, all of our syrups for the sodas. If you are not into the booze, we also have mocktails that are seasonally inspired. At Liquid Riot, we take a lot of pride in the liquid we put in the glass, so we invite you down to enjoy what we make.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Plate the State. I hope that this messaging has really stuck with you and you feel inspired to help in any way that you can, even if it's just talking to other people in community about that food insecurity is a real thing and we need to really be supporting our children. And there were so many incredible people that were a part of this episode. We couldn't fit it all into just 28 minutes. So you can go on platethestate.com and link to our podcast where we talk to many more people that made this happen. Thank you so much for tuning in, following along on social media, and to wherever your appetite takes you, cheers, and we'll see you next time.
Have a seat, some coffee, begin. Tell me a story and stay a while, please stay. Oh, and I'd be grateful if you would walk with me and share some of your precious.
First of all, how important this organization is this Christoph Mitnock. She always gives these wines with like the weirdest names. As I mentioned, I did mention it. First I'm like, wait, what? His executive shoe chef